Good evening, I'm Adrian Ghobrial. You're watching City News at 6. This is our second hour of news, and we begin with two city issues tonight. The first one, potholes. Check out this one here on Bloor. Craters like that, they're causing a crunch for drivers at a near record rate this year. Is this one of the worst years on record?
This is one of the worst years on record. This year we've repaired about 125,000 potholes compared to 83,000 for the same time period last year. So we've seen incredible weather since January, freeze and thaw cycles. This year we're pushing probably about 250 by the end of the season.
Miles Curry with the City of Toronto says this year will end up as the second worst on record since they began tracking pothole data. Already this year, the City of Toronto has been inundated with more than 1,900 pothole claims from drivers who are asking the city to pay up because their vehicles were damaged. That's more than all of the claims combined for both 2016 and 2017, when the city had to pay out $180,000 and $140,000 annually for claims. The taxpayer payout this year could easily top $400,000.
It's almost as long as me, so imagine having no choice but to drive over it. We speak with upset residents who have to deal with the
It was just last month that our Brandon Rowe found a pothole so large you could take a nap in it. Now, classic reporter moments aside, the concrete crunch is taking a toll on thousands of drivers. The staff at Spiros & Sons in the East End say they've seen the number of vehicles with pothole-related damage triple this year at their garage.
It's not like other years, it's a smaller pothole, so the tire gets in there and it's, you feel it in your car, you hit something, let's check the alignment. You get a whole tire immersed in the pothole, and it's about 6 inches deep. We've seen everything this year. We've seen from chunks missing out of aluminum rims, very expensive cars. We've seen steel rims completely bent. We've seen control arms. We've seen struts bent. We've seen everything this year. This year has been one of the worst years. And even on my own car, I've had two blowouts, one on the highway and one in the city.
And that's cost you?
$1,200. So,
and you get the inside price.
Exactly.
The city comes, they fill up the pothole. A couple days later, all that stuff's been knocked out and the pothole is back. Is there better methods we could be using?
So we're constantly looking at materials. It really comes down to the material and the binding. A lot of the time when we're cleaning out a pothole, it's wet. There's a lot of water in it because it's after a thaw or a rain. So the best thing we can do is try to clean that out as best we can. But then what happens again is we get another freeze-thaw cycle, and those potholes that we repaired potentially could fail again.
Now we're here on Bloor between Avenue and Bedford, and this one right here, you can see someone going over it really slowly. It's pretty much like a half pipe. Drivers are having to drop into it and then pop out of it. Now, let's say that your vehicle drives into a pothole just like that and gets damaged. Who's at fault? Well, one insurance advisor we spoke with today says that you are, depending on your driving history, as well as the deal and policy that you have in place, your premiums could go up.
Unfortunately, it goes against your record as a collision claim if you do hit a pothole. The other consideration that consumers need to have is what their deductible is. And so the deductible would apply, and many times people have a $500,000 deductible on collision coverage, sometimes more. So it may not make sense economically to file a claim.
As for fixing the mess on our roads, the city says this weekend they'll be focusing their efforts on the DVP with its closure this weekend.